Welcome back to the channel, guys, and well, yes guys, the Laferrari Successor, i.e. the F250 has officially broken cover, and here it is in all its glory, the F80. And well, if you thought the 12 Cilindri was the worst Ferrari could ever do, and specifically Flavio Manzoni could do in terms of design, well, here we are with the all-new F80, and first off, the name on its own, I mean, they literally couldn't think of anything. I mean, what the hell is wrong with the complete naming department? Because they're literally just not even coming up with something that's actually good. I mean, the complete 12 Cilindri, which is literally 12 cylindri or 12 cylinders, and well, here we are with the F80, which is actually named right from the F80 concept, which was in fact determined to be the complete proper Laferrari Successor, but that was done by a complete designer or a complete other designer, i.e. the one who designed the Laferrari on its own. And well, that F80 and this F80 definitely do have one thing in common amongst most things, and well, one takes the top step, and that is the fact that the both of them are ugly. And well, starting off with the looks, as you guys can see, which I properly did not see coming through my previous video, and of course check that out, where I thought that Top Gear had literally pretty much leaked the F250, and well, it turns out they did for the better part, but there are a couple design changes, and one of the biggest and most blackest ones of all is quite literally right here. As you guys can see, it literally gets that big black stripe on the bonnet right from the 12 Cilindri, but this dials it up a notch because this literally not only extends on between the headlights but little bit more on top as well, and well, that completely destroys the look of the car altogether. And well, this complete front end shot is quite literally throwing it back to one specific Ferrari hyper, i.e. the Daytona SP3 on its own. And well guys, the complete angles are not at all good, and well, it doesn't possess the proper elegance and beauty and monstrosity that you'd expect from a complete Ferrari hyper, and said hyper, which is literally supposed to be the successor to the legendary Ferrari. I mean, that benchmark on its own is very highly put, and well, for starters on its own, the looks are completely destroyed, and on top of that, it does not get a V12 but a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, and of course that powertrain in fact is pretty much respectable because that is literally right out of their LMDH, i.e. the 499P, i.e. the Le Mans winning powertrain on its own, which took the complete victory in the past two outings in 2023 and 2024, and they've slapped in that exact same proper 3-liter twin turbo V6 into the back, and they've combined that with a complete proper triple electric motor system, 2 electric motors on the front axle and one in between the 8-speed dual clutch transmission and that V6, and that one in the back is actually the MGUK right out of F1. So this is quite a fine motorsports marriage in terms of the complete powertrain, and of course 900 horsepower from that twin turbo V6 and 300 horsepower from the complete electric proper drivetrain slash powertrain altogether, giving it a combined power output of 1200 horsepower. Not bad in its own, and well, torque is actually quite definitive here and there. There are in fact multiple torque curves on its own, such as to the fact that it literally changes per gear, and on top of that, it properly redlines at 9200 RPM in certain modes, and in also a couple other modes it redlines at 9000. So they have properly tweaked with it in a complete technological manner, and well, in terms of the complete proper track capability and performance, it is indisputable, guys. 1050 kilograms of downforce can be generated by the all new F80, and well, that's an immense amount, literally just about higher than that of the W1, but of course that looks much better, much cleaner, and of course McLaren didn't downsize on anything whatsoever. Meanwhile, of all the things that Ferrari could have upsized, and they have upsized a couple things, and of all the things that they did not have to do it, they did it to that massive big black stripe on the bonnet, and well, that completely destroys the front end look altogether. And I mean, through and through, of course you get your complete butterfly doors, and only 799 of these will ever be made. And well, the naming convention, guys, I mean, what the hell are they thinking? I mean, authenticity has literally just been chucked right out of the window ever since the 12 Cilindri, and well, design literally went out the window with the Puro Sangue. And well, I mean, guys, it's a V6, guys, it's not a V12. That's the biggest thing. Being the Laferrari Successor, it had to have a V12, and well, of course, as you guys can see, it literally doesn't. And of course, on top of that, it literally doesn't even have a complete clear rear engine deck for good reason on its own. I mean, who the hell would want to look at a V6 when there's literally supposed to be a V12 in that exact spot? And well, on top of that, guys, I mean, the complete raw emotion of a proper V12 is completely absent. The proper swan song of a proper high revving naturally aspirated V12, and that's exactly what makes a Ferrari, and especially this being the Laferrari Successor, I mean, it had to have a V12, guys. I can't say that enough on its own. And well, on top of that, I don't even know what Ferrari were thinking to put a V6 into this. And well, I get it, it's a phenomenal powertrain on its own. I mean, 900 horsepower, but they could have achieved a similar result with the V12 taken right from the Dodici Cilindri, given with the fact that that on its own is quite literally just a toned up variant of the V12 from the A12 Competizione. I mean, they could have literally just taken that and toned it up a bit in terms of horsepower and just given it a little bit more juice, and it would have been good to go. You would have gotten a V12, and well, we would have gotten a somewhat worthy Laferrari Successor, because even though it might have succeeded in the complete technical department, in terms of design, well, there are a million things to say. And well, starting off with that massive big black stripe along the front, I mean, through that side portrait, guys, I mean, the angles just do not look good. And I mean, just look at the complete front fender piece over the wheel that completely surrounds it. It just does not look good. I mean, apparently that's supposed to completely reference the F40 and the F50 and the Enzo, and it does do that. But I mean, guys, the complete retro futuristic vibe that Ferrari is going with across their complete new models is not at all sticking by in a very good manner. And well, I mean, it just does not look good, guys. I mean, with all the vents and of course butterfly doors and all, it just does not look or properly give that much amount of the complete proper pizzazz factor that the LaFerrari gave. I mean, when that thing shows up, you would know it showed up. I mean, that thing would and will gatherize till the end of time. And well, ever since Ferrari dropped the F80, I will bet good money that within a month the LaFerrari will definitely go up in price, because at the moment the average price is about $3.6 million. And well, coming to the fact of the price of a LaFerrari, one of the biggest heavy hitters of the all-new F80 is the fact that this has a starting price of $3.9 million. Yes, guys, nearly 4 million. Let's just say 4 million, because I mean, when you round it up, it definitely does come about to 4 mil. But 4 mil for this, for a V6 powered LaFerrari Successor, that does not look good. And I mean, we can literally just get a proper LaFerrari. We can get the OG, the decade old V12 powered OG benchmark holder on its own. I mean, what else do you need, guys? I mean, no one's even going to look at this when you can literally get a complete LaFerrari within the price of one of these. And well, to add complete insult to injury all over, you can literally get two McLaren W1s in the price of one of these. And well, that is phenomenally better in terms of looks, in terms of performance, in terms of track capability. Everything on that is in at the top notch level. And well, meanwhile, here we are with the F80, which of course, I mean, the naming convention is completely stupid and not at all authentic. And well, with these looks, I mean, it's quite literally a complete hybrid of the complete Daytona SP3, the SF90, and a sprinkle of the Dodici Cilindri. And well, the outcome was, well, not as good and not as elegant and not as beastly as we'd expect, especially from the likes of Ferrari, and especially for the likes that this is supposed to be the LaFerrari Successor. And well, it does boast some phenomenal acceleration times, as it can go from 0 to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour in 2.15 seconds. Now that is blisteringly quick, and that is thanks to the complete four-wheel drive system. Yes, guys, if you heard me correctly in just a couple minutes ago, I did say it did have two electric motors on the front axle, and yes, it does get a complete four-wheel drive system, and that will definitely make this heavy. And well, speaking of which, we will get to that later on. And it can also accelerate from 0 to 200 kilometers an hour or 124 miles an hour in 5.75 seconds, just 0.05 seconds shy of the time that the W1 takes to get to the same speed. And well, now on to the weight. Of course, it gets a complete proper four-wheel drive system, as I said, and on top of that, NMG UH, NMG UK, and on top of that, a complete triple electric motor setup as well. So a lot of big things going around. And well, this comes about to a complete dry weight of 1525 kilograms, and well, that will add up to about a curb weight of 1625 kilograms. Just to put it into perspective, the complete W1 on its own, which is properly got a complete V8 on its own, and on top of that, that does not have a complete proper triple electric motor setup, obviously, and that completely comes in at a dry weight of 1399 kilograms, so about 1.5 tons as the complete curb weight. Meanwhile, the dry weight of the F80 on its own is way more than that of the complete proper curb weight of that of the complete W1. And well, those are some proper stats that speak for themselves. And I mean, guys, the complete side portrait with the complete straight up 90-degree cut on the front fenders. I mean, that does not at all look good. I mean, just look at the beautiful comparison to the LaFerrari. I mean, that is completely sleek, beautiful, elegant, and monstrous at the same time. Meanwhile, this is just got a lot of complete abrupt cuts that completely disrupt the body lines and just start off randomly and end randomly and get cut off all over. And well, towards the back with that complete non-clear deck lid on its own for obvious reasons, as I said. And well, with that at the back, it's got a complete single tailpipe exhaust akin to what you can find on the 296. And another big issue right here is that complete mesh grill at the back that literally does not do its job. It literally does not block off any of the internals whatsoever. I mean, you can literally see right through the mesh into the complete internals, and well, that definitely spoils the look. And of course, it's got a monstrous diffuser, and on top of that, an active wing that properly pivots in both directions, i.e. towards the front, and it not only acts as an air brake but also gives you a complete lower drag setting, and on top of that switches into a complete high aero mode, or in a complete high downforce mode, if I should say the right way. And well, thereby making this quite a track capable beast. As I said guys, in terms of performance, in terms of its capabilities, it is indisputable. But it's a V6 guys. I mean, I cannot just not say that enough, because this being the LaFerrari Successor, it had to have a V12. I mean, we knew that this was coming, we knew that it was going to get a V6, but we at least expected it to look good. Yet here we are where Flavio Manzoni has just properly pulled the Direction Ferrari 2.0, but in a way more bad guys. And as you guys can see, well said bad guys just literally presents itself right here. I mean, it does properly boast some phenomenal numbers. I will just say that out loud. And the powertrain is completely phenomenal guys. I mean, the literal 499p twin turbo 3 liter V6 right out of their LMDH and right into their complete proper complete LaFerrari Successor, which it shouldn't have been. And for the fact that that engine on its own literally weighs the same as that of the original 296 motor, but nevertheless, if you ask me personally, I think they should have just put that motor into the complete upcoming 296 Versione Speciale, but a V12 should have been the proper internal combustion engine variant in the complete F250 or F80 guys. I mean, it had to be a V12 guys. I cannot stress that enough. And on top of that, a stupidly steep price tag of $3.9 million, just about a $4 million hypercar on its own, and a LaFerrari Successor which does not get a V12. Meanwhile, you can literally get multiple better options. I mean, you can get an AMG one, the complete actual road going F1 car, for under 3 million on its own, and on top of that you can get two W1s within the same price tag of one F80, and on top of that you can get yourself the ultimate track bred weapon, i.e. a Koenigsegg Esco Attack, and you can option it with even the $443,000 Koenigsegg naked carbon option, and you will still have a decent amount of money left over. And I mean, you've got just a plethora of better options all over. Meanwhile, they are saying that this is the pinnacle of performance, which it is. It stands to that complete statement altogether. But in terms of design, it does not consist the proper oomph that you'd properly get from a proper Ferrari Hyper. I mean, just look at the complete aura, as you'd say, from the complete proper Enzo, the F50, the F40, the 288 GTO, and of course a decade ago was the LaFerrari. I mean, that was a benchmark, and it still definitely is. And well, this is nowhere near that guys. And well, I mean, what do you think about the all new F80? I mean, the looks are just not it guys. That massive big black stripe, and on top of that the complete abrupt line cutoffs, as you guys can see, surrounding the front wheels. I mean, that literally just gets a complete 90-degree straight cut right at the doors. And well, the overall design just does not contain the proper pizzazz factor that the LaFerrari did, and the Enzo did, and the F50 and F40 and 288 GTO did. All of them looked beautiful yet brutal at the same time for their eras, of course. And well, here we are where this is supposed to be the complete LaFerrari Successor. It does not look the part. It doesn't even have a V12. And well, of course, in terms of the performance aspect, it is highly indisputable guys. This thing can take to the track with the complete S-ducts and some very clever aero through the underbody, and with a massive active wing at the back, and of course a casual amount of 1050 kilograms of downforce that can be generated by the F80. It is in no doubt a track weapon, but of course I feel like they could have definitely just given it a V12. And the looks, I mean, what the hell is Flavio Manzoni on ever since the Puro Sanguine, the Direction Ferrari, and well, now with the F80, well, this complete proper line is severely starting to completely disrupt the flow of Ferrari, and altogether their their models, and yet people are gonna applaud them as per usual because they are literally Ferrari loyalists and all. But of course some people do like it, and well, of course, to each their own. Obviously we all have our different opinions, and of course that I completely respect. But I mean guys, that black stripe at the front just completely decimates the front end look, and well, it is definitely a track worthy beast. But in terms of this being a LaFerrari successor, it is definitely not worthy. And for the fact that this has got a complete proper hefty price tag of $3.9 million as the starting price, and well, that is definitely unworthy and definitely not at all worth the car that you're getting. And well, through and through, into the interior, which I actually really love, which is pretty much because race car all over, with the complete central tunnel and the way the screws are exposed to give it that much of a amount of a proper race car feel. And on top of that, this also carries over something similar which you found in the LaFerrari, either complete flat top and flat bottom steering wheel. And I love the way the complete steering wheel properly frames the instrument gauge cluster just perfectly on its own. That's actually a really beautiful feature. And a very unique part of the all-new F80 is the complete monocoque, where the complete driver seat is in fact positioned a little bit forward than that of the complete passenger seat. And another complete unique factor about the monocoque is, as you guys can see, the passenger seat is in fact a very much a part of the complete monocoque, whereas the driver seat is literally a complete individual piece on its own. And well, that is to give it that much amount of a complete proper connection between the drivers, such as to center everything around the driver. And I mean, with the complete proper manual style shifter, how you can opt between automatic, neutral, launch control, and so and so. And of course that is there through the central console. And well, other than that, you obviously do get a passenger display, which is, as I can see right here, it is literally not there. Well, that is, I'm pretty sure, a design fault, or not a design fault, but a complete thing that the CGI artist forgot to add. And another thing that the CGI artist forgot to add are the pedals. As you guys can see, they are literally not there. But of course, this being the complete startup photos of the car, I get it. But nevertheless, I absolutely love the interior, very rugged with carbon fiber all over, and to give it a proper race car feel, which I absolutely adore. But guys, that is pretty much about the good factors of the complete F80. I mean, the design, guys, it is just not it. And of course, it does get a complete proper double wishbone suspension setup with active suspension as well as camber control, which will definitely help this in terms of tracking capabilities. And on top of that, the complete independent suspensions on its own completely get 148 volt battery to properly help it adapt and send independent inputs to the independent suspensions, such as for this to completely take to the track and take every corner at its maximum pace, and of course to properly stay glued to the track in every way imaginable. And well, camber control will definitely help with that at angled circuits. And well, on top of that, it can even properly vary or properly change its complete ride height, such as to properly give it that much amount of downforce. And as I said guys, it definitely has some of the most clever aero you will ever see through the underbody, through the S duct at the front, and the complete double vents. As you guys can see, those are actually used to cool the brakes. And speaking of the brakes, it gets some proper Brembo CCMR plus carbon ceramics, and of course that is to provide it with immense stopping power. I mean, 1200 horses have definitely got to stop quick. And on top of that, you also get some beautiful wheels, carbon fiber 5-spoke wheels with a beautiful silver inlay. And on top of that, that unique monocoque setup, i.e. the complete seating configuration, is in fact a proper 1+ seating configuration. It's not a conventional 2-seater configuration, which is very weird. But of course, it was designed in such a way, i.e. the monocoque was designed in such a way such as to properly give it that much amount of better aero, i.e. better performance, i.e. to properly make this even more of a track car than it already is. And well, I respect that, because of course the main proper objective of the F80 is to properly completely embrace performance in every way imaginable. And well, it definitely does that with the complete brand new carbon fiber monocoque, and of course with the complete aluminium rear and front subframe with titanium screws to hold it all together. And well guys, in terms of the performance aspect, I've said it once and I will say it again, it is incredibly respectful, and it is definitely up there in terms of a proper track bred weapon. But being the LaFerrari successor, it had to have the emotion of a proper raw, naturally aspirated V12, and well, unfortunately it did not get that. And well, in terms of looks, well, I've literally just said all my pieces right here. And well, I don't know what Ferrari are doing. I severely want to see what is going through the mind of Flavio Manzoni whenever he's designing these cars, because well, amongst the complete new generation of supers that we're seeing coming from the likes of Ferrari, well, there seems to be a certain pattern carrying through, where they think some complete out out of the world designs are actually good. And well, of course, some people like them, some people don't, and well, that all comes down to personal opinion. But nevertheless, guys, when it comes to the F80, I mean, it just does not have that many good angles. I mean, in terms of performance, as I said, it is highly respectable, but the looks, the complete powertrain, guys, it's a V6. They could have achieved a very similar result with an NA V12, literally taken from the 12 Cilindri, but nevertheless, they had their own plans in mind. And well, guys, I mean, with the complete active camber control, which is definitely a very proper helpful feature, and of course, it properly embraces functionality in every way whatsoever, and such as to properly give it that much amount of performance. The complete camber controls, as you guys can see, are literally 3D printed pieces, and some of the suspension bits as well are properly 3D printed, such as to properly give it that much amount of performance and properly make it lightweight, seeing as though that it already weighs in at about 1.6 tons as the curb weight, 1625 kilograms to be exact. But nevertheless, the W1 takes the cake, guys. I mean, it's an automatic W, because they haven't downsized. McLaren have not downsized, they've in fact upsized in terms of the engine, as they went from a 3.8 liter twin turbo V8 to a 4 liter twin turbo V8. Whereas on the other hand, with the Maranello based Marquis, they have managed to completely halve the engine. And well, although yes, it is definitely up in terms of the complete track capability, it has completely lost the raw emotion that makes a Ferrari a Ferrari. And well, what do you guys think about the all new F80? Comment below. And well, guys, the looks and everything are just not it. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. And well, on top of that, it properly tops out at a speed of 217 miles an hour or 350 kilometers an hour, and it can generate that full amount of 1050 kilograms of downforce at the speed of 250 kilometers an hour or 155 miles an hour. So not some bad stats in its own, but guys, it's a V6. I cannot stress that enough. And well, a V12 would have been preferred. And well, nevertheless, it's the W1 that takes the cake. And well, Porsche are nowhere in the picture for the complete 918 successor. So as of right now, it's the F80 as a Laferrari successor and the W1 as the P1 successor. Comment below what you would take from the W1 and the F80. And another feature that it carries over from the Laferrari is the fact that you cannot drive this in a complete all-electric mode, and that is because the complete e-motor setup and the complete 2.3 kilowatt-an-hour battery works in harmony with that 3 liter twin turbo V6, such as to completely work together all the time, i.e. meaning you cannot drive this in a complete all-electric mode, and that's exactly what is the complete feature in the Laferrari as well. And well, what would you guys pick, the W1 or the all-new F80? And well, guys, that is the all-new unworthy successor of the legendary Laferrari. And of course, drop all your thoughts in the comments below. And well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember to hit that sub button and click the bell to ensure you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See ya.